Yes, Koenigsegg, yep, he's got the advantage, but unironically, the average ducks to the inside. What a move! But Koenigsegg accelerating back on the outside. And there goes Salty Bonkos to the inside. Bashing door panels, sparks flying, smoke spraying. The Butler is going to go wide. Salty Bonkos on the inside. They're a little bit off the pace, but now accelerating all 500 horsepower. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to X Venture here live on Twitch TV. Yes, a new name. Not much else has really changed except for the name. I appreciate y'all tuning in here on a Tuesday evening, or maybe it's an early Wednesday morning, depending on where you are in the world, for opening week here of Season 36 in the Forza Spec Racing Series. There on your screen is a little bit of a flashback to Season 35, with AMS Storm picking up the championship there at 382 points in that Volkswagen Scirocco R. It was a great series, probably one of the more exciting and one of the more competitive seasons that we have seen, and we've seen some great seasons. So that's not playing down Season 34, 33, and all the ones before it. No, that just means Season 35 was exceptionally good. If you want to take a look at all the action as it unfolded through 5 weeks of racing, head on over to twitch.tv/xventure and go to the video tabs. I have to say it like that to remind myself that it is no longer Virtual Autosports. And some of you may be wondering, well, why go away from Virtual Autosports? Well, if you remember, the reason for me changing it to Virtual Autosports about 2 years ago was because largely the content that I was doing here on the broadcast was that of Forza Horizon, Forza Motorsport, predominantly racing. And so Virtual Autosports made sense. Now, I've done a little bit of flight simulator. I've done some truck simulator. And so the Virtual Autosports piece doesn't make much sense anymore. And as a result, have changed it to X Venture. And just a short little explanation. I'm not going to go into the lore of X Venture because really there is none. But it is taking EXE, the executable file in computer language, and going on a venture or an adventure, but to make it roll off the tongue a little bit better, X Venture, and that's how you pronounce it, X Venture, not .exe adventure, although that's how you'll see it sometimes branded, but X Venture is the pronunciation. And so hopefully that means whenever we've got more content for you in the form of flight simulator or truck simulator, or somewhere outside of that realm, which is not entirely out of the question right now. I'm actually kind of thinking about doing some stuff that just gets away from the sim world altogether, get into some stuff that is a little bit different here for what you are used to seeing with me anyway. I mean, usually I'm behind the microphone talking about racing, or if it's in flight simulator and truck simulator, it's kind of the same alley, but I don't know. Who knows? We might get into some sort of first-person shooter, or we might be into some RPG. Just never know. Cool Gabe, HTM Booty Juice. That name does not escape me. I'm very familiar with that name, only because we've seen you around here before. A very funny name. Thank you so much for saying hello. I know you said you were loving the intro. The intro is probably about 2 years old in and of itself. As a matter of fact, when I started Virtual Autosports, created that intro. So for those of you who were waiting until the very end to be like, oh, he didn't update the car, did he? It's going to say Virtual Autosports here at the end. No, I was not lazy enough to forget updating that, but I was lazy enough not to do a new intro altogether. I'm telling you what, guys, editing video takes up some time. And while I've been in broadcasting or streaming and TV production for a good chunk, not good chunk of my life. I actually should qualify that a little better, or quantify that a little bit better. Although I've been in broadcasting, streaming, TV broadcasting for a little bit here in my existence on Earth, the editing stuff. Kudos to the content creators who do it themselves. Like, they haven't blown up so large that they've got somebody to do the editing for them. Kudos to those who not only get done with their broadcast, or if they're not a live broadcaster, actually putting together the footage to then make the edited video. And then kudos to those who do the live broadcasting and then turn that around into something that's edited. I kind of had a little bit more of a motivator for that in the early days of this channel, and it quickly went away because it is time consuming. Mateo Max is here. We've got Matt 6661, and by the way, Cool Gabe reminds me of The Office. I don't know if you're an Office fan, but Gabe and the name Cool Gabe makes me think of The Office. Which, if you know The Office, you know that Gabe isn't necessarily a cool guy. Carry Out is here. Carry Out with his diamond and all his emotes, and sitting at the top of the leaderboard there, 34 gifted subs. It does not go past me every single day that I fire up the broadcast, and I see some of the great contributions that you all, the viewers, have brought into the channel. Even though Carry Out, Not So Tin Man, and Tesaurus sit at the top of the list in terms of the gifted subs, everybody who's subbed to this channel, I could pretty much, and I'm not going to, here I go, putting my foot in my mouth, I could pretty much think of every single one of you who has subbed to the channel, and whether you are today or not, it doesn't matter. The contributions have helped the channel grow leaps and bounds, at least in the production value. And then, of course, we're still working out and working through establishing our little community here in Twitch. But I don't anticipate it getting any bigger. I mean, I really do this for fun, and what we have on tap here tonight is really the driving force for me to be on here behind the microphone every Tuesday, because the racing that we have out on the track is not only just entertaining as heck to watch, but it is really, really fascinating to see some of these guys and gals hone their skills over time and get better over time, and see how much better they can show up on the leaderboard, which, again, you're still looking at here from Season 35. All right, I got it. Enough at looking back at the past. Let's go ahead and look forward into what we have in store here over the next 5 weeks, and it all starts tonight, week number 1. Yes, it is September 15th. So maybe if it's your birthday or your anniversary on September 15th and you weren't aware that it's September 15th, you might want to start either celebrating now or get off and go say congratulations to the person that you owe it to. But here we are, September 15th, Watkins Glen full, and the alternate track for 17 laps. Really excited about this one. No chicane on the backstretch, which is really going to make things interesting in the vehicle that we have ready here for season number 36. And then Suzuka full, 15 laps around that track. That's going to be fun. Then a week from tonight, it'll be Le Mans. The Circuit de la Sarthe full circuit, 8 laps, which is timely, right? Coming off the heels of the 24 hours of Le Mans, which is happening this weekend. Who's excited about that? I'm raising my hand. You can't see it because I don't dare have a camera, but I'm excited about it. And then Daytona Sport Car Circuit. Again, this is all next week. And then 2 weeks from tonight, week number 3, it's Circuit de Spa, followed by Sebring. I don't know where Spring. We're leaving spring unless you're in the southern hemisphere, but Sebring full, 15 laps there in week number 3. Then in week 4, it's the last week in which we have 2 races, Circuit de Catalunya Grand Prix. Ooh, that's a track I love. And then Road America full, and that is all capped off in season number 36 with week 5 out at Monza full, the alternate track. So no chicane there off the start line, allowing these EB110s to get up to speed. And yes, the 1992 Bugatti EB110 is the car of choice here for season number 36. Really looking to see what the drivers are going to be able to do with this one. It's been a little bit since we've been in an S-Class car, and yes, they have upgraded it to S800, which is the top PI number for S-Class before you then get into R-Class here in Forza Motorsport 7. And that S800 is basically the calculation. It's the output of an algorithm that test the vehicles, and it does this behind the scenes. It does it automatically. Test the vehicles' cornering, acceleration, braking, top speed, a number of factors to come up with the S800 number. It comes in at 461 foot-pounds of torque with 587 horsepower. This EB110 weighs 2,886 pounds, and it's got the race oil cooling, homologation restrictor plate. Then in the platform and handling area, it's got race brakes, race springs, and then the front and rear roll bars are of the race variety, and then sport weight reduction to bring it to that 2886. Drivetrain is the sport drive line with the race differential. Tires and rims are race tire compounds wrapped around some Speedline 859s. And I can't remember the rim size of the vehicle, but perhaps I'll be able to dig that up a little bit later. And then you've got the race front bumper. I don't think there is a Forza Aero for the back end of the Bugatti 110, so they just have the race front bumper up in the front, allowing the drivers to make those adjustments for either grip, added grip, or for top speed. So they'll be able to make those adjustments from race to race, which is really great about the Forza Spec Racing Series. Even though it is a spec league, that's only in the upgrades. What you do to the vehicle to prep it for each race, to set it up for you, you can get under there and tinker with whatever components are adjustable. Coming in with the subscription, Muertismo with the Twitch Prime for 4 months. Season 36, let's see if I can beat P10 from Season 35. Looking forward to watching the replay post-race. There you go. I love it. I love it when the drivers, they kind of set themselves a goal. Maybe they've got an obtainable goal, and then they've got a stretch goal, and then here comes Chaos Fox with the subscription. Also, 5 months. Well, actually 5 months. It was 4 months for Muertismo. Chaos Fox got you beat there with 5 months. 5-month streak, by the way. That's 5 months straight at Tier 1 saying, aw, yeah. Thank you very much, both Muertismo and Chaos Fox. Greatly appreciated. And there's something I got to say, by the way, and this is not me. This is not me pandering for subscriptions. But what I do want to let you all know, very important that I get this out of the way, Twitch is experimenting with mid-roll ads automatically generated by its system. So, if you are a subscriber to this channel, you're okay. You will not see any ads. That's built by design. Boom. Your benefits are working as advertised. However, if you are not a subscriber to this channel, do know that Twitch is rolling, again, automatically advertisements to viewers on channels like mine, which means I did not instigate the advertisement. Usually when we run ads here on X Venture, it's after the race has concluded, when I'm taking note of who finished where, so that I can bring you back and tell you where everybody finished, and then we talk to some of the drivers. Pardon me a second. little bug in my throat there. But now, with Twitch's automatic... Oh, it's still there. We'll try it now. Yeah, VW bug in the throat, says Manteo Max. You're not wrong. It's the bug. It's the Scirocco from Season 35. It's stuck with me. Twitch will... Long story short, Twitch is going to run some ads. If you're not a subscriber to this channel, unfortunately, that may interrupt the racing action. If you are on a device which allows you to have kind of the picture-in-picture where it shows the ad and then it shows the broadcast, you may see that. But please know that yours truly and a lot of the streamers that you may interact with here on Twitch, we are not purposefully running those ads unless, of course, the broadcaster is purposefully running them. But for those times where they pop up almost randomly, that's Twitch doing it on their end. For that, I apologize, but it is a new kind of system that they're working through, and they want to see if it's something that helps support the broadcasters better, and then also, obviously, puts a little extra coin in their pocket. All right, here we go for qualifying. 3 laps out at Watkins Glen. Full alternate, and I can't stress that enough because the alternate version, again, means that there is no chicane on the back straight, which allows them to go full bore all the way down into the right-hander, which would be turn number, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think it's 5. I forgot to print my track map. I do know that there's the boot with the heel and the toe, so we'll talk about that as we go around the track. But here we have Slow Motion Fire, who actually organizes things here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. He'll be the first one off the line in his EB110 to try to set the quickest time. 3 qualifying laps. Your first one is your standing start, so you're really looking to dial it in on lap 2 and 3. Holy smokes, I don't know what's going on. I just have this weird bug in the throat, the VW. Slow Motion Fire getting a little squirrely there on the low end of the boot. Now coming into the heel. Go ahead and make that right-hander up to the left, and that'll be the penultimate left here at Watkins Glen Full. Doug Roberts asking, when does the race start? So all of the racing action for the Forza Spec Racing Series kicks off at 8 p.m. Eastern. It started by a qualifying session for race number 1. Then we'll have the race, which out here at Watkins Glen will be 17 laps. And then we'll have another qualifying session for race number 2, followed by the race, which is happening out at Suzuka. And that'll be a 15-lapper. So it's about a 2-hour broadcast for those of you who may be etching out time here on your Tuesday evening. Curious about what it's going to look like. Slow Motion Fire there with the top speed at 186, but it'll be LSEM Barney with a 152.258. And of course, you're looking for that clean lap too, because you could post a quick dirty lap, and that ain't going to help you. Your fastest dirty lap will always be slower than the slowest clean lap. You'll be at the back of the pack if you can't manage to put together a clean run out here at Watkins Glen. Now down that back straightaway is LSEM Barney after coming out of the chute. Barney's got out in front of him, I think it's the 8th quickest lap right now. Not going to be able to tell you until they come up here and I can see the gamer tag over that's Chaos Fox there with the 12th quickest time right now. Right now it's RZM McQueen with the top time, followed by Udakan, Audrex, Cratrian, LSEM Barney, Carry Out, AP1 Raccoon, Chaos Fox, Mortismo, Born as Ghost. That's your top 10. And I believe we had 21 drivers who started. And yes, I did talk a little bit off the top of the broadcast about the name change as I diversify my streaming portfolio a little bit. But there are a few little extra tweaks that have yet to have been made yet. So this is kind of like an iteration thing where the name has changed. There's some changes in the graphics that you see. And, oh, there goes somebody off the track at the toe and way off the track into the tire wall as we see the Red Bull liveried EB110 here by Joe Beardy. Slipstream back behind him, Anis Udakan now with a 147.377. It seems like such a long time since we had the Forza Spec Racing Series. I don't think I've had to talk to you all like this before. I mean, all of our broadcasts since in the flight simulator world and the truck sim world have been a little bit of a different approach. I like to be a bit more casual there. So this feels weird, but it's a good weird because it means we're back to racing. And now RZM McQueen is going to go ahead and take back that top time from Udakan with a 146.748. And the rest of the drivers will now close out their third and final lap. to see if they can't move up a spot or two on the grid. And actually, all the drivers on their third lap, or almost all the drivers. There's one straggler here. Or actually, there might be a few more. Fear the Fun. Looks like a PNC Bank livery. I'm not sure what the theme was. I'm trying to gather what the theme might have been. We've seen Red Bull, we've got PNC Bank. Can't make out Barney's livery there with it being ghosted, which is one of the benefits here of racing in the virtual world. We can do all our qualifying, all the drivers out on the track at once, and they're ghosted with one another so that they don't make contact. Definitely makes things interesting, as is the case there for Fear the Fun, looking to the inside through the toe of the boot, trying to look in to find the apex. And DWM Frog, can you? Yes, I can. Thank you so much. Yeah, I tell you, when I switch up games, I have to change the way the audio works, and every single time I seem to fail. LSCM Buck. That's a new name for us, or at least for me here on the Forza Spec Racing Series roster of drivers. Much better, thank you. Yeah, and of course it depends from car to car too. The EB110 might be a little bit louder as Buck comes across the line. And McQueen appears to be holding on to the pole spot there with that 146. Nobody able to best that so far as the remaining drivers come across the line. We'll go ahead and we'll jump out. We'll take a look at the posted times, and we'll see if any of our drivers want to have a word with us, tell us what they think of the EB110, what their aspirations for season 36 are. Let's see, who are we waiting for? Modern Weapon is looking to cross the line here. Yep, there he goes, and that'll go ahead and boot us out and back into the lobby. We will check out those top times. There we go. A little awkward. It's a little awkward how that happens, but it happens. That's the good thing. We do get back into the lobby. It's a plus. All right, DOR carryout with a 149.267. That compares to Slow Motion Fire's 150 for 71. So carryout able to best Slow Motion Fire then. And it's Chaos Fox with a 152.89. LACM Barney with a 148. Audrex with a 147. To AMS Udacon's 147.377. So Udacon picking that up on lap number 2. Not able to do better on lap 3. Cratrum with a 148.501. There's McQueen with that blistering hot 146.748. Are you kidding me? Almost a full second quicker. He is a full second quicker than Audrex. And almost a full second quicker than AMS Udacon. 149 and a 152 for Born as Ghost and Grim, respectively. Both of those are dirtied, as indicated there by the exclamation mark in the triangle. That means they'll be at the back of the pack no matter how quick or slow those times were. AP1 Raccoon was at a 149.825. Mortismo with a 149. Fox Jason D coming in at a 150. Joe Beardy with a 149. 148 for Slip. LSCM Buck, a new name to the Forza Spec Racing Series, but with the LSCM tag, obviously no stranger to the Forza Motorsport Series, with a 157.13. Fear the Fun with a 149.222. Look out for Fear the Fun. That's the name to look for each and every season. A 156.22 there for Sprazows. The Nice the Villain. First time we've seen that gamer tag here in the Forza Spec Racing Series, unless it's just a changed gamer tag at a 201 dirtied, and then Modern Weapon with a 153 dirty. Let's go take a look here at the interview queue. Oh my gosh, there's nobody there. Nobody wants to chat. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. Do we have a bunch of shy drivers here in season 36? Maybe we'll get them after the first race. Maybe after the first race has gotten underway, commenced, and either they're feeling good or they're feeling indifferent. Maybe they'll hop in there. Usually we don't get drivers when they had a bad race. They typically steer clear of the driver's spotlight whenever that happens. McChicken is too fast as carry out. Yeah, McQueen is on it. 146. The only 146 out there during qualifying. Way to go. I don't know about the McChicken part. I won't say that, although I just did. But I'm going to attribute to you. I'm going to attribute that to you there, carry out. McQueen, Lightning McQueen, might as well. Might as well be. Let's see. Still nobody there in the queue, so it looks like all the drivers are going to go ahead and ready up. Audrex, Chaos Fox, Born as Ghost, Brazal, Spawner Weapon, Slow Motion Fire. They're working on it. So as soon as we have them all readied up, then we'll get out there to the track, the same track, the Watkins Glen full circuit alternate version. No chicane on the back straightaway, 17 laps. And full simulation damage is turned on. That means tire degradation and fuel depletion. It also means that you can damage your vehicle should you get into an accident with another driver or with the environment. Booty Juice saying, Lightning McQueen should be a good race. You're excited? Good. Good, you should be. Where things left off in Season 35, I have no reason to believe that we're going to be let down here in Season 36. S-Class, I mean, already you're taking a jump from where we were in the Scirocco, which I believe was B-Class. So leapfrog over A-Class and into S. And again, 587 horsepower, 461 foot-pounds of torque, in a vehicle that weighs 2,886 pounds. And looks like everybody's pretty much modern weapon. The last season that you saw was the pickup trucks, the 19, oh gosh, what was it? I can't remember the year of the F100, but it was season 34, so you missed season 35 in the VW. It was a good one, and by the way, again, great opportunity to say after tonight's broadcast, and maybe you're bored at some point and you're looking for something to watch, you can go into the twitch.tv/Xventure Archives, the video tab up above. And that way, even if I'm not live, you can go ahead and see what maybe you missed in past seasons or past broadcasts, whether it be Flight Simulator or Truck Sim. And you can watch back season 35 in its entirety. Been busy with moving and a new job, but now I know the schedule, so I will tune in a lot more. Well, thank you so much there. I appreciate that desire to come back and continue to watch and enjoy the content that we've got going on here on a Tuesday. What a great way to go into the midpoint of the week. Roll into a Wednesday. I love the fact I totally forgot when I got home from work yesterday. And by got home from work, I mean I stepped out of my work from home office into my not work from home area of my house. And I was completely reminded that football was on. And of course, for those of us here in the States, that's Monday Night Football in the non-soccer variety. And so that epiphany struck me for the first time, just because it's been such a weird year, that cool, I've got Monday Night Football to look forward to for at least the next 14 weeks, I think, 14, 15 weeks. And so that was cool. That's a good way to spend the Monday evening. And then here we are, the Forza Spec Racing Series on Tuesdays, 8 p.m. right here on Xventure. If your Tuesday sucked, well, guess what? We can try to make it a little bit better for you heading into Wednesday, and then hopefully the the midpoint and the back half of the week can be that much better for you. What's up there, Corona Vera? Corona Vera. Long time no see. Good to see you back. I'm sorry your name is synonymous with now, Corona virus. But welcome back to the channel. SGR Floofy. This was a fun car to tune. You should show up, Floofy. Why are you not on the grid? You most certainly should be out there. Here comes Mesosphere. Mesosphere is going to show up. He didn't qualify, but he's going to be out there on the track now. So let's go ahead and run through the list of stars. The men and women that make up the Forza Spec Racing Series: LSCM, Barney, Cratrim, McQueen, Joe Beardy, Mortismo, Slipstream, Buck, Carryout, Fear the Fun, Audrex, AP1 Raccoon, Fox Jason D, Grem, Sprazouse, Born as Ghost, Chaos Fox, Slow Motion Fire, Modern Weapon, Nice to Villain, Uticon, Mesosphere, and then yours truly at the very top of the list here with the all-seeing eye as we provide spectating, commentating all throughout the season. Season 36 from start to finish, week 1 through 5, with week number 5 being that grand finale, which takes place, as we talked about during the schedule, 45 laps out there at the Monza Full Circuit Alternate. I think there could have been a better selection there, but I'll go ahead and let the drivers enjoy what they've got with their picks. They had a chance to pick. If they guessed the vehicle correctly, that's the way things work here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. After AMS Storm won Season 35, which, by the way, was his second championship here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. He won back in season number 24 with the Fiat X19. After he won Season 35, he got to pick the vehicle, which ultimately turned out to be the EB110. But then Slow Motion Fire posts some obscure photos of the vehicle. The participants who are registered for the next season get to guess the vehicle, and if they guess correctly, then they get their pick of the litter in terms of track. So could be an advantage for you if there's one track that you're really dominant at here in Forza Spec here in Forza Motorsport 7. Then hey, make it work for you. Guess the car, pick the track, shows up on the schedule, and have at it. But really, the awesomeness of the Forza Spec Racing Series is the competitive nature, not just at the front, but all the way through mid-pack and to the back of the pack. So if you're looking for some community community leagues, and you haven't necessarily jumped on in, you're standing outside the pool and you're just thinking about it, well, rest assured that this is the league for you. They consider themselves kind of under the guise of this beer league. It shows up nicely on the broadcast. There's a lot of great racing, but then they consider themselves kind of a beer league where they like to have fun on the Racer Comm side, get in and part of the community, and get better at your virtual racing ability. If that's what you aspire to. Maybe you just want to come out here and continue to be at the skill level that you're at, but just see how well you pair up against other drivers. You can do that too. You can do that. All right, here we go. Some neat racing suits, says DWM Frog. Yeah, I know. Forza Turn 10 Studios implemented the racing suits with Forza, I think it was Forza 6. And they're cool. I wish there was another system for them. I wish there was. Mesosphere says, here we go. He's going to try for top 10. SVR Unku says, I believe. RZ McQueen with the pole on the line. He's going to signify the start of the race. And here we go. Kick the tires. Light the fires, ladies and gentlemen. The Forza Spec Racing Series season number 36 in the EB110 is underway. And out of turn number 1 they come. McQueen, he's going to be out there by about a good car and a half length lead. Let's go back to Audrex, who's in third, as he's got LSCM Barney right behind him as they go now through the chute. Got the catch fence on either side of you. You scream on past and now out onto the back straightaway where there is no chicane because we are on the alternate circuit. So don't have to worry about lining yourself up for that and staying off the grass. No, you can keep it full bore all the way into the right-hander, and here they come. Audrex in that Risen liveried EV110 hits the corner, does a little bit of a slide. There's LSCM Barney right behind him, followed by Slipstream and Cratrim. They're in 5th and 6th. A little bit further back is going to be Dior Carryout in 7th position. Joe Beardy in 8th. Chaos Fox in 9th. LSCM Bucks is in 10th. Sprazales in 11th. AP1 Raccoon is in 12th. Born as Ghost, Fear the Fun, Mesosphere, Mortismo, Fox, Jason D, Soul Motion Fire, Nice the Villain, Modern Weapon, and Grim make up 13th through 21st. Off the track goes LSCM Barney. He's going to go ahead and collect Slipstream on his back bumper, and those two will have to recover. They do so nicely, not needing chaos back behind him, so everybody's very appreciative of that. And now we've got ourselves a nice little grouping of cars from 1st on back to 8th. Now getting ready to head back toward the start-finish line for the beginning of lap number 2. Joe Beardy, that's the name that you want to keep your eye on. I tell you, season after season, I always say that, and then he kind of lets me down a little bit, but I have a feeling he may not let me down here. S800, EB110s to Bugatti. All 9 races this season. Here comes Audrex now out of that final right-hander. He's going to go ahead and scrape the wall just a little bit up toward the start-finish line, and there we go. 1 lap is in the books, folks, and we're still under green. Full damage turned on. Race arrow on the front of these vehicles allows them to make some adjustments up there, and then, of course, we talked about some of the other upgrades to the vehicle earlier on, and we'll recap those maybe here in between races. This is race number 1 of 2 this evening here in week number 1. Audrexy's going to go ahead and grab that guardrail. Once again, coming through the chute. Going to slow him down a little bit. AMS Udakan, they're in 2nd, back behind McQueen. Let's go to Udakan there for a little bit as they chase each other. Well, it's going to be Udakan who's chasing McQueen. McQueen's not trying to chase Udakan. He's got his eyes set forward, and he's going to try to make it happen, pick up a win here in week number 1, race number 1. That'll put him in the right direction. It's been AMS drivers over the last 3 seasons, with Udakan going back-to-back in season 33 and 34. Then it was AMS Storm in season 35. So somebody please put an end to the domination out here. Can it be Team RZM? Matt 6661, I saw him in the chat earlier. I have a feeling I know who he's rooting on. And down the low end of the boot here, into the hill and up the slightly sloping hill. It's a little bit more, it's not as dramatic as the camera makes it look there. You do climb up a little bit, but doesn't phase the EB110 and all 587 horsepower, not one bit. P10 is close, says Floofy, and we will take a look back there after we see if Udakan's going to be able to close the gap here coming out of the right-hander for the beginning of lap number 3. And it looks like still about a car and a half length lead there for RZM McQueen. Let's switch it on back. Let's go to 7th. Actually, yeah, let's go to 7th position there with Dior Carryout. Dior Carryout across the line now with LSCM Barney out in front. LSCM Barney, who we saw get off the track with Slipstream behind him, now has Slipstream out in front of him. And Carryout trying to get around Barney as well. Have Barney drop back a few spots. He's going to go to the inside here at turn number 2. They're going to go side by side. Oh my gosh, this is going to be crazy here coming through the chute. You don't necessarily want to do it, but Carryout really has no choices. Barney is just kind of all over the place there, throwing a little bit of smoke out the back of the Bugatti. And now down the back straightaway, Carryout grabs another spot, and back to 7th goes Barney. Let's go to 10th position there. Chaos Fox, who's got out in front of him in 9th. That's going to be Mesosphere, who's climbing the ranks. Now, Mesosphere is going to go wide out here at turn number 5. And now down the hill, he's going to jump out in front of Chaos Fox. Chaos Fox probably thinking, would you not do that to me? I don't need that. And there he goes. He's going to get the back end of the Bugatti out a little bit there as they come through turn number, again, I'm guessing here because I forgot to print my map, but turn number 6. I need a producer. I need a gosh darn producer. Up the hill comes Chaos Fox, and he's going to try to chase Mesosphere. And I don't know, Mesosphere is on a tear here. I think Mesosphere is on one of those runs. He was further back because he didn't qualify. He wasn't out there for the qualifying session and has had to gather at least 11 positions up to this point. Let's see if he's able to snag a few more here by the time the race is over. And I have a feeling, it's just a bit of a hunch, I think he'll be able to pull it off. Looking back behind Chaos Fox, it's Buck, another member of the LSCM team in 11th. Fear the Fun, not having a stellar race up at this point. Currently back there in that PNC car in 12th position behind Buck. And he's going to go ahead and mow the lawn a little bit here for the landscaping crew out at Watkins Glen. Back out on the tarmac he goes, lines it up for turn number 1. Let's see if he runs it wide a little bit. The drivers Probably trying to keep it within the lines here. They will get a little. They'll give you a little bit of a breather if you have to go outside track limits here in the Forza Spec Racing Series, but do it enough times and then you'll get your hand slapped. Fear the fun, of course. He knows what he's doing. He's a Forza Spec veteran here, and he knows how to keep it on the straight and narrow without exceeding track limits. Let's go back up to 4th position now with Cratrium. Cratrium, who's consistently in the top 5 on our leaderboard every single season. And now here he is. He's in the top 5 of the race and trying to chase down Audrex. Audrex in a beautiful position right now in 3rd. But if he's not keeping pace, he'll quickly have Cratrium closing in on him, and then back behind by about a second or two is CMB Slipstream. Buck has engine damage. RIP, says Unku, watching his stream. Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, because the damage is turned on. Whether you maybe over-rev the engine or make contact, pick up some engine damage, and that apparently is what has happened there to Buck, says Unku. Running through the field, it is McQueen in first. Amos Udakan has fallen back quite a bit. Look at that delta there. Last time we saw these two, it was only a car length lead, and now Amos Udakan with the clown avatar, clown racing suit, is going to have to catch back up if he's going to try to pick up the top spot here in race number 1. Back behind Udakan is Audrex, Cratrium, who we just saw, Slipstream in 5th, Carryout in 6th, Barney in 7th, Joe Beardy is in 8th, Mesosphere up to 9th position, Chaos Fox in 10th. Then starting the back half of the pack, it's Buck, Fear the Fun, Born as Ghost, Raccoon, Sprezaus, they're 11th through 15th. Then it's Modern Weapon, Fox Jason D, Slow Motion Fire, Mortismo, Nice to Villain, and Grim, 16th through 20th. Make that 21st. We do have 21 drivers, 21 who started, all out there on the track. Let's go ahead and move back where we got a little bit more action. Let's go to LSCM Barney, who again has dropped back a couple of spots, but has not conceded to the rest of the field. He's actually trying to keep pace here with the top 6 as he goes through the toe with kind of a very retro-ish paint scheme here. It's an LSCM design, but kind of a minimalistic with just the sponsors and all that. You got the piping or the striping around the wheel arches and such, but just a very classic looking design. What did you saying downshift too early? Exactly. I mean, that's what you can do here in Forza Spec, Forza Motorsport 7. If you downshift too soon, over rev the engine, the game will assess you some damage, and that little incremental damage actually adds up to be quite a lot in terms of your top speed and ability to accelerate. You don't want to do that too many times. Heck, you don't even want to do it once. Let's go back to Joe Beardy, who is in 9th position because Mesosphere, the man, the myth, the legend. Again, he didn't qualify in this race, so he's all the way back in 21st position. Now finds himself in 8th. He's going to go ahead and hug the guardrail there a little bit. And Joe Beardy with the Red Bull EB110, he's going to go ahead and jump out of the slipstream there, look to the inside of Mesosphere, but Mesosphere is going to be like, yeah, no can do right there. I'm going to go ahead and shut that door. He was wide through this corner earlier on in this race, but here on in race number, on lap number 6, Mesosphere very, very tidy as he takes it into the boot. Let's go to Carryout, 6th position with Slipstream in 5th. Cratrium is still in 4th with Audrex still hanging out there in 3rd. And we've got a driver who's off the track here coming through the heel. I think it's one of the back markers, however. jump back to, let's go to Buck in 11th position. LSE and Buck, and I think Buck is sporting the same livery as his LSEM brethren. Barney, or teammate, his just happens to be red. So LSEM red here is Buck, and he's got Chaos Fox, who is in the top 10. Chaos trying to be in the top 10. At least that was the goal posted up in the pit lane here at X Venture. But he's going to have to try to hold off Buck here. Oh, and we get the black screen, which usually indicates that we've lost somebody. We'll find out who that might be. Fear the Fun is out. Fear the Fun is off the out of the race very early on. Ghibli Giblet saying, "Go Barney, I've got a bet placed on you. If I lose, I don't get the lifetime supply of Snickers from the Shell gas station." Well, that's depending on what you put down, could be a very expensive or inexpensive bet. Ghibli Giblets rooting on Barney there in the pit lane and Twitch chat here at X Venture. And I'm Dustin Moore. Thank you very much for tuning in here on a Tuesday evening. Watching week 1, the first race of 9 in Forza Spec Racing Series season number 36. The 1992 Bugatti EB110, the vehicle of choice for AMS Storm, who won season number 35. Back to Barney in 7th. Across the line for the beginning of lap number 8 in this 17 lapper, that 18th lap that you see there in the upper left. That'll be a cool down lap. And Barney does seem to be closing in on Carryout, so we'll hang out here, and now Carryout's got one of the back markers, or at least it looked like one of the back markers, but that might have been, nope, that's Grimm. So it is one of the back markers. I thought maybe the livery of the car appeared to be eerily reminiscent of Audrex, but Audrex is still up there in 3rd position. So the field starting to spread itself thin a little bit through the top 5. But then you look back here to 6th and 7th. That's the closest battle out front. There goes Grimm off the track into the tire wall, and an untimely loading screen here. That's Nice to Villain now out of the race. And here comes LSE and Barney to the inside of Carryout. It's going to try to reclaim 6th position. It was about 4 or 5 laps back that we saw Carryout grab this from Barney, and Barney wants it back. I don't blame him. Carryout also with a very classic look there to his EB110. Love the designs. And I can't say it enough that the drivers do a phenomenal job showing up here week after week in vehicles that are tuned, prepped, ready to go for each of the 2 tracks, and then they make them look good out there with these designs. And whether it's somebody on our team that helped put them together or they themselves did it, good effort all around. And across the line there goes Carryout and Barney, 6th and 7th respectively, beginning of lap number 9 here. So a little more than half of the way through this race. Race number 1. Back out of turn number 1, into 2, then 3, into the chute. Barney does seem to be closing in. Let's go ahead and ride on board here with Barney on the back straightaway. And let's go ahead and turn up the sound here of the Bugatti EB110. And out of the toe for the ninth time, here comes Carryout. Leading Barney. And even Slipstream, either off the pace or these two are just working together to catch back up. Let's take a quick look back to 11th position with Buck, who has Chaos Fox still out in front in 10th. And then out in front of Chaos Fox, it's going to be Joe Beardy in 9th position. Joe Beardy having a pretty good run here. Then it's Born as Ghost in 12th, Sprazalis in 13th, Modern Weapon in 14th, Fox, Jason D, AP1 Raccoon, Muertismo, Slow Motion Fire. And actually, I said Chaos Fox earlier was aspiring to be in the top 10. I think that's a given. Muertismo was actually looking to breach the top 10 here in season number 36. The engine sounds like a hungry, angry bear from Montana. Well, that's an interesting sounding bear. Let's go back to Barney. This really is a good battle here for 6th. And we've got somebody kind of sitting, it would appear, off the track heading into the final right-hander. That's going to be Grim. Grim, who we saw earlier into the tire wall. Clearly not having a fun go at it here in the first race of season 36, and now just kind of spectating from the side of the track. Booty Juice saying not going to Montana anytime soon. You know what? SCS, American Truck Simulator, if the Montana, well, when the Montana state comes out, because they've got to be making it, right? If they're going to get all 48 contiguous states, we'll have to see for ourselves if the Bears sound like angry Bugattis. And actually, Grim looking to be quite close there to track side, or at least the camera angle made it look that way. Hopefully not in a bad spot there that could cause problems for the other drivers. I'm going to guess not. Maybe it was just camera trickery. Mesosphere up to 8th, and very, very soon we're going to have a three-way battle here. Carryout, Barney, and then Mesosphere. So we're going to keep the camera right here. Our battle for the top spot, RZ and McQueen, he's unchallenged at this point. That's easy for me to say. He does have AMS Unicon in his rearview mirror, but not right on the back bumper. But if McQueen can keep pace the way that he is right now, should be in a good spot. RZ and McQueen, if I'm not mistaken, joined in on the final week of season number 35 and helped put a few drivers in their spot, and now deciding to have a go at it from the start. So, again, maybe it will be an RZM Rise Motorsport driver who's able to break the chain of Alien Motorsport championships here in FM4, the Forza Spec Racing Series. It was AMS Unicon, season 33 and 34, and then 35 went to AMS Storm. Here comes Barney now, out of the heel. He's keeping pace with Carryout, although that the separation doesn't seem to be closing any more than maybe it was earlier. It seems like maybe he's running at about the same pace as Carryout right now, but very, very quickly, it's going to be Mesosphere tapping on the door. Let's go ahead and do a lap here on board with Mesosphere as he comes across the line for the beginning of lap number 12. Little tap of the grass there by Barney coming through the chute. That might be all that Mesosphere needs to catch up here on lap number 12. into the right-hander where Mesosphere did goof it up earlier on in this race, but again, he's got it down pat now. After those tires have warmed up, now into the left-hander, starting into the boot. And let's go ahead and take a look at the vehicle situation just to kind of understand what these cars are doing as they've gone around for 12 laps here at Watkins Glen. 50% tire degradation there on the left front, 48 on the front right. And you've got nearly 25% there on the back, left and right. And here we go. Things are going to get very interesting on lap number 14. Thank you all so much for tuning in here. X-Venture, live on Twitch TV. Week number 1 of the Forza Spec Racing Series will be here for the next 4 Tuesdays with green to checker coverage. And did I see we have a car into pit lane? Amos Udakan is our race leader. That was McQueen into pit lane. Oh no. What has happened to McQueen? And, gosh, I hope that wasn't the commentator curse. I said that he didn't have AMS Unicon challenging him that close. And just like that, AMS Unicon has nobody on the radar. Nobody. All by himself here on lap 13. Might as well make it lap 13 3/4 now. As he comes up the little grade and then back down into the heel, and McQueen now finds himself back out on the track in 11th position. No, I don't want to commentate. I'm good where I'm at. I don't want to commentate anywhere else. I really don't. I enjoy it here. I have other aspirations. I don't know what this S-spin is that you're talking about. Here comes McQueen, trying to at least get back into the top 10 after something went woefully wrong. And by the way, Mesosphere has done the double jump, the double jump in checkers by getting around both Chaos Fox and Buck. We were going to watch it, but then something happened to McQueen, and I was trying to figure out what. And as a result, missed Mesosphere getting back 2 spots, or moving up 2 spots after starting 21st, having not qualified. And so as it stands right now, and here he goes, he's going to make the move here on LSEM Barney down the back straightaway. They're going to go side by side into the right-hander, and Mesosphere, he's actually not going to make it that much of a challenge. Actually, no, he does now, because he was a little bit either off his braking or off his driving line going into the right-hander. Now he's going to go ahead and take it back from Barney as Barney boinks the exit there of the right-hander, and now Mesosphere takes 6th position, looking to get into the top 5 because he's got the laps to do it out there in 5th position. That's going to be DUR Carryout, and even in front of Carryout is Slipstream, and in front of him is Craytream in 3rd, Audrex in 2nd. Mesosphere could climb 3 or 4 spots here in the remaining bits of this race. Let's go ahead and hang out here with Mesosphere. I said we were going to do it last time, and we didn't. I paid for it. Let's go ahead and see if he makes the double jump here on lap 15. Hoodie Juice saying, not sure if he had that damage on the front end before. Maybe he made contact with the wall and then simulated damage, resulted in him having to go to pit. It's very possible, very possible. If we have a chance to speak with McQueen, if he's up for it, maybe we'll try to figure out what happened there in the driver's spotlight after this one has concluded. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll have qualifying and then our 15-lapper out at Suzuka, the full circuit. That's going to be a blast. Here comes Mesosphere. Now into turn number 1 on lap 15. We've got 3 to go in this 17-lap race. Again, that 18th lap is just a cool-down lap, so the 18th lap does not count. Here comes Mesosphere now through the chute. He's got a little bit of damage there to the side of the EB110. That just shows that it's battle-tested. It's resilient. SVR Vortex in the pit lane, the Twitch chat saying, go on, Mesa. Go on, lad. Make it happen. He is. Mesa looking to finish in the top 5 versus McQueen, who had pole and is now just hoping to get in the top 10. Crazy turn of events here. Very early on in season number 36. McQueen now into the top 10 after able to get around Joe Beardy. And if McQueen can make it happen, getting around Buck and Chaos Fox, then McQueen can get up to 8th, and then it'll be very, very difficult to get much beyond that. Thunder THR, which, by the way, Thunder, thank you so much for the host, and thank you for the follow just before the broadcast here today. Welcome to the channel. Great to see you, and glad to see you cheering on your boy Chaos Fox. Across the line, beginning of lap 16. We've got another car into pit lane, but I think that's one of the back markers. And so as I run through the field, AMS Udakan picks up the top spot with McQueen having some sort of devastating damage to the vehicle, which necessitated a pit stop. So by default, AMS Udakan moves up to first, Audrex to second, Kracham in third. That's where those three have been sitting all throughout this race, or at least behind one another in that order. And then Slipstream in fourth, Carryout in fifth. Here comes Mesosphere in sixth with Barney back behind him in seventh. Then it's McQueen and now who has indeed picked up 8th position. And if he's able to get any more, that'll be pretty miraculous. SGR Chaos Fox in 9th, Buck in 10th, Joe Beardy in 11th, Borna's Ghost is 12th, Sprazalis in 13th, Fox Jason D, AP1 Raccoon, Mertismo, Slow Motion Fire, Modern Weapon are the 18 drivers remaining out on the track. It was Fear the Fun and Da Vinci, who we lost earlier on in this race. Or excuse me, I said Da Vinci, the villain. The villain. And Grim, too. Grim has gone ahead and backed out of the lobby as well. So 3 drivers who started. Unfortunately, not going to be able to finish this one. And here we go. AMS Udakan crosses the line and triggers that lap 17 there in the upper left. The white flag flies. Let's see what Mesa's going to be capable of here. This final lap, I thought he would be a lot closer to 4th and 5th as we got toward the end of this race. But either of those guys have saw what was coming in their rearview mirror and decided to go ahead and apply a little extra mustard, or Mesosphere, as maybe with the drive toward the charge toward the front, maybe he's lost some grip in those 2 front tires, and now he's just trying to make up whatever pace he can. We'll see through the chute for the final time. And Barney continues to trail back after Mesa made that pass about 3 laps ago. Audrex with a stellar run right now. A really good start to season 36. Kracham in 3rd, Slip in 4th, Carryout in 5th. Let's see if Carryout's going to be able to hold on to it. I mean, he is the prey of prey out here on the track right now. This is the closest battle that we've got going on. As you can see, the smattering of dots there on the map. Carryout just has 3 more corners to make it right. Can he hold on for the top 5? Mesosphere, who started out in 21st, currently riding in 6th, which is a a great finish in and of itself, but if he can grab one more spot here, I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. Final right-hander, and no siree, but hey, I think he'll take 6th. Across the line, back behind, carry out in 5th, slip in 4th, Kratcham in 3rd, Audrex and Udakan 2nd and 1st respectively. Then it's Barney, McQueen in 8th, Chaos Fox in 9th. And your last driver of the top 10, LSEM Buck. All right, folks. Well, again, I apologize if you received any sort of advertisements during our racing action there. It's something new that Twitch is experimenting with. And so really, again, I'm not pandering for subscribers, but really the only way to avoid it here legitimately is to subscribe to the channel. Everybody who contributes to the channel, it goes directly back toward the production of this broadcast or any giveaways that we're able to do. And we did a lot of giveaways back in the spring. If we get up to that point again where it's possible, heck, we may do a giveaway here in season 36. Who knows? But we're going to go ahead and take another ad break right here. Or at least this is the first traditional ad break that we take here on X Venture. And on the back end, we'll talk to some of our drivers, hopefully, if they're not too shy. We'll take a look at the final results out of that race. We'll have one more look at the schedule entering season number 36, what's on tap here for the remaining 4 weeks. And then we'll get ready for week number 1, race 2, which is happening here tonight. Make no mistake, the racing is not over. Race number 2 with qualifying coming up here in about 10 minutes or so. We'll be right back here on X Venture. I'm Dustin Moore. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the other side of the ad break. Hello and welcome back, everybody, and happy Tuesday evening or Wednesday morning to you. I'm Dustin Moore. Welcome back to X Venture here on Twitch TV. Yes, the new name for Virtual Auto Sports is X Venture. That's how you pronounce it. EXE, executable, programming stuff, computer language. That's the new name, so that I can venture outside the world of auto sports. But we've got a lot of it here, a lot of the virtual auto sports happening here on the broadcast tonight, the Forza Spec Racing Series, season number 36. Yes, this is a look back at season 35's final tally of points coming into tonight's action. And, of course, those were all scrubbed clean. Everybody starting out with 0 points, and it'll be AMS Udakan who's the first to pick up 50, winning the race that we just saw, race number 1 here in season 36. We've got Suzuka that's coming up next. We'll have our qualifying, the 3 laps of qualifying first, followed by the 15 laps around that track in full. And then a week from tonight, same time, same channel, 8 p.m. Eastern, it's week number 2 with Le Mans. Again, very appropriate. How apropos that we've got Le Mans Circuit de la Sarthe, the full track, after the 24 hours of Le Mans that is happening in the real world here this weekend. Very excited about that. And then Daytona, all that a week from tonight. 2 weeks from tonight, it's Circuit de Spa, followed by Sebring. Then week 4 is Catalunya with Road America. I love that combo. There in week number 4. And then we close everything out here in season number 36 in the EB110 with Monza full alternate. Taking a look here at the driver's spotlight, and sure enough, we got old Mesosphere in here, and I don't mean old in a derogatory sense. It's definitely a term of endearment that I'm trying to use here. Mesosphere, how are you doing?
Not too bad, but less old, more ancient is fine. It'd be more accurate, at least. It's nice to be back, even though it was by being bullied. I popped into the Discord and said, hey, how's the numbers doing for this series? Found out there was a couple of slots spare, and since then I've been bullied remorselessly into jumping in with no laps of practice and no qualifying. So anyway, it was a fun race.
They had to twist your arm to get you in here, huh?
Not so much twisted, but poked and prodded.
So you go.
Just get in.
Yeah, you twisted right back because you didn't qualify. You weren't out there for the qualifying session, so you started at the back of the pack, able to get all the way up to 8th position, I believe. So one heck of a run. Was this all on just getting used to the car, familiar with the car right now, or did you have at least a little bit of familiarity coming into this race?
No, getting used to it right now. 0 laps. I literally jumped on, and in the lobby itself, I grabbed a tune the Queen had shared, grabbed that, stuck it on the car, and went. I must admit, I didn't even know the starting procedure, so I just thought I'll just go whenever the guy in front of me goes. And I'm still not entirely 100% on what I'm going to be doing there. It's been a while, but yeah. No, I just literally jumped in the car. It's why I think, because I've been listening to the broadcast and going around, you caught me when I was going quite wide at the top of the hill and things like that. I wasn't entirely sure where the braking zone is. It's like it's somewhere around here in most cars. Obviously not with this car. Yeah, no, it was lots of fun. It's nice being back, and some really good close racing with a lot of people as I was moving through the field. Unfortunately, towards the end, the front tyres were just shot. And so after I passed, I think it was Barney for 6th place, I had no front. It was just going, nah, I'll get you to the end of the race, but I'm not going much further. So, yeah, that was about it.
I figured that might be the case. We took a look at your tire situation as you were on those final 2.5 laps, and we saw the degradation out front. And as you were gaining ground, I'm like, okay, he might be good. And then as soon as it seemed like that ground game was starting to wear off, I assumed it was wearing off because of the tires, pun intended there. But talking with Mesosphere, finishing 8th out here at Watkins Glen for race number 1 of season 36 in the EB110. So how do you take what you learned there from race number 1, both in the tire degradation, but then also just in the handling of the car, and apply that out here at Suzuka?
Brake earlier for that last chicane. That's basically what I'm brake earlier for that last chicane, because if I brake where I'm normally going to, I'm going to kill someone. So brake earlier, because it's a nice, sleek-looking sports car, but she be heavy. She be heavy. It doesn't stop. So yeah, break earlier than I expect to, and otherwise, just be patient. A lot of people seem to be struggling with this. So whilst I moved through the field relatively well, a lot of those passes were just from other people breaking a little too late, going wide, and I'm just capitalizing on mistakes. To be honest, I think that's what happened for most of that last race.
Right, right. Yep. I think from our observations, that would be accurate as well. Suzuka, um, in terms of the vehicle, do you think this is a good pairing here, and are you excited about it, or is it still going to be a little bit of getting used to the car?
Still going to be lots of getting used to the car, but having said that, I like Suzuka. It's just going to be trying to figure out my breaking points and things like that, really, and what sort of speed it can carry through the first sector. Because certainly, as the tires wear, this thing pushes and pushes and pushes more and more and more. So it's going to be a learning process for me. But yeah, lots of fun and good to be back.
My volume's a little bit low, says Carryout. Carryout, I appreciate you letting me know there, and hopefully I can make that adjustment, although now we're here at the end of Mesosphere's interview. Mesosphere,
Right.
thank you so much for chatting with us, and best of luck here at qualifying at Suzuka.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'll hopefully speak to you a bit later.
Indeed, indeed. So thanks again there, Carryout. I appreciate you giving me the heads up. I tell you, it seems like it's been ages since season number 35. And there you all get to hear Mesosphere on the low end of the volume spectrum. I'll try to make that adjustment. I do believe I'll take the majority of the blame here, but I do believe when there was I went through the 2000, what is it called, the 2004 update, I think they call it, for Windows 10. And by 2004 I don't mean the year, but that's the update number. If I'm right on that, I feel like it did do some stuff to audio. So while I'll take the brunt of the blame here, and that the sound wasn't great there during the interview, I feel like there has been some weirdness to the volume settings. I don't have a cool, fancy XLR audio set up here, and I'm not working off of a soundboard. So all of this I'm managing through Windows, which can be a bit of a bear sometimes. So I appreciate you bearing with me, and especially letting me know when things don't sound on point, and we'll get it fixed up. DWM Frog saying that was a great interview. It was, and it was good to hear from Mesa once again. And he shows up every once in a while. I know he said it was good to be back, and I think he means for the beginning of a season. He does kind of peek his head in every once in a while and maybe get a race in here or there. But it sounds like maybe he's in for it, in for the long haul here in season 36, and it's really not that long of a haul. I mean, 4 weeks after tonight, and that's it. 9 races. Again, easy for me to say as I'm sitting here behind the microphone, just watching everybody else go around. All right, here we go. Out to Suzuka for 3 laps of qualifying, and yes, it'll be quite lengthy qualifying as we are at the full circuit here, and we've got some partly cloudy skies. I really love the skybox, this skybox out at Suzuka, so I'm glad we got this one, as Borna's Ghost will be the first one into turn number 1. Borna's Ghost having a pretty good run there in race number 1. I think finishing 11th, back behind McQueen. He was fine. It's just your volume seems lower than normal. Okay. Like my volume? Like my speaking volume? I'm just going to go ahead and boost the microphone not as high as it can go, but higher. Let's go ahead and throw some, whatchamacallit, some statistics, some data, some telemetry there in the bottom left. All right, actually, let me do this real quick. If the audio doesn't sound great, let me do one thing, and it is going to require me to go ahead and quickly jump off the gameplay. But I do want to be able to do this here so that I don't have to think about it. Actually, yikes. All right, I'm not going to tinker with it now. Something seems amiss. So I'll have to delve into the audio settings a little bit more. I'm not entirely sure what's going on. It's Born as Ghost now getting lined up here for the S's, the chicane, before you go toward the start-finish line. He's got a ghosted vehicle of LSE and Barney. Again, benefit of virtual racing, virtual motorsports, is that we can have all the cars out there simultaneously setting their best lap time. LSE and Barney across the line there with a 2:12.575 for a standing start lap. I sound fine now. It's just the interview. Okay. I'll look into it a little bit more because I can tell on the Windows sound menu that something doesn't seem quite right. So after the broadcast, at least if it's doable now, then we're okay. Let's go to Chaos Fox. Chaos Fox here in baby blue and white with the EB110, which again has 587 horsepower, 461 foot-pounds of torque, 2,886 pounds of curb weight. As Mesosphere was alluding to, the vehicle can be quite heavy, especially when you lose grip in the front tires due to the tire degradation over the course of those 17 laps out at Watkins Glen. And we've got a lot more curvy bits out here at Suzuka, so that tire degradation might actually play a lot bigger of a factor here in race number 2, and that makes things all the more interesting. Race oil and cooling, homologation restrictor plate, race brakes, race springs, race front and rear roll bars. Then you've got the sport weight reduction, so not as impactful as a race weight reduction, but some poundage taken out nonetheless. Sport driveline, race differential, race tires on Speedline 859s, and again, I don't have the specs on that one. Usually Slow Motion Fire provides those specs for me, but I'm not seeing them here. I'll have to go look at them in game. Race front bumper in terms of the aero to give the drivers the ability to do some tuning up front for cornering or for top speed. Mesosphere was the only one to join me there in the driver's spotlight. We'll see if maybe somebody else will hop in here after the qualifying session. It's RZ and McQueen with a 2:08.275 on lap number 2. And will anybody best that? Let's go to Carryout, who currently has the 3rd quickest time. Helicopter having a bird's eye view there of the action into turn number 1. There goes Spurzaus, followed by Carryout. Lap number 3, the second and final flying lap here during qualifying session. If you're interested at all, which if you have Forza Motorsport and you haven't been involved or maybe not as involved in league racing as you either like or not as much as you think you can handle, and you actually do want to try out more league action, and you've got Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern free, well then head on over to reddit.com/r/FM4. They've got all the registration info for season number 36. You're not racing here tonight in week 1. That's okay. You could join in on week number 2's action and still be in the running for the championship. That's because out of the 5 weeks, they take your top 4 in terms of points, and that's what applies to your championship point total. And then, of course, they've got the total point total, but that doesn't matter. It's the championship points that you should really be worried about. And even if you're not going to be in the running for the championship, just because you know your abilities, you know what your ceiling is, at least right now, that's okay too. There's plenty of drivers of different skill out here on the track. You find somebody who's pretty like-minded in terms of driving style and is similar in terms of capability, well, then try to beat them. And then after you beat them, then maybe you start focusing in on the next driver. Before you know it, you'll be improving your skill over time. Third lap has concluded for some of our drivers. McQueen there with a 2:05.277. We'll hop back out of the lobby and we'll see how everybody else is fared here during the qualifying session. I really love, and I'm actually growing on. It's growing on me, the LSEM liveries. They're super simple, but sometimes that's what wins me over. I'm a simple man. Give me some piping around the wheel arches, a few little bits around the vents, and I'm good. At least from what I can see right now, McQueen with the top time, followed by Udakan, LSCM Buck, Mesosphere, Carry Out, Slipstream. Much better situation here for Mesosphere, who actually got into qualifying in race number 2. And we'll see if he'll be vying for that top spot. If you're enjoying the content here on Virtual Autos, my first time goofing it up. If you're enjoying the content here on X Venture after the name change, please click that follow button. Lets me know as the broadcaster that you are in fact enjoying the content. It'll also give you that notification next time we go live if you have your notification set up. But at the very worst, which is not a bad Benny at all, the channel will be in your followed channels section whenever you log into Twitch next, making it that much easier for you to find. All right, drivers, if you want to have a little chat here in the driver spotlight, hop into that queue for interview channel of the FM4 Discord. While you're considering doing that, let's go ahead and take a look at the final results here of qualifying. A 2:08.857 for LSEM Barney. A 2:08.857 as well for Ghost. Unfortunately for Ghost, that is a dirty lap. To the back of the pack, sir. RZM McQueen with a 2:05.277. LSEM Buck with a 2:07.254. A 2:10.221 for Raccoon. 2:09 for Chaos Fox. 2:10 for Mortismo. Mesosphere able to get in on the qualifying fun at a 2:07.488. Oh my gosh. The disparity from pole position to just fourth is absurd, but things get different in racing. You can only hold on to such pace for so long in the race itself. I think McQueen's going to have to preserve some of the tires. So don't be too flabbergasted by the qualifying times that are the difference, the delta in qualifying times from row 1 to row 2. AP1 Raccoon, I believe I already mentioned, yes, I was all the way down at Mesosphere at a 2:07. 2:09 there for Audrex. Slipstream at a 2:07.960. Audrex, by the way, having a great finish, getting second there in race number 1, but he's got his work cut out for him here at Suzuka. He'll be about mid-pack there with that 2:09. Slipstream with a 2:07. Grimm with a 2:17. Carryout with a 2:07. Sprazalis with a dirty 2:11. That'll put him at the back of the pack. 2:06 there for Amos Udakan. Stand by. After Udakan is 2:13 there for Fox Jason D. Soul Motion Fire with a 2:10. Joe Beardy with a 2:09. Nice to Villain and a 2:20 dirty. 2:12 dirty for Modern Weapon. And Craytrim with a 2:08 dirty and was unable to complete qualifying. Ooh, that's a dagger to the heart there for Craytrim, who finished third out at Watkins Glen and was probably hoping to double up on those points here in week number 1 and not make this his drop week. We'll see, though, if he's able to turn that around here in the race itself. All right, so we'll just stand by and wait for things to get going here for race number 2. I don't see anybody in the interview section, and maybe we'll get some of them drivers in here after race number 2. We typically see a lot more engagement in the driver's spotlight after things are all said and done, because at that point I guess you can hop in there without fear of being distracted. Some drivers, maybe they're very focused. Very focused. I don't want to get sidetracked with having to answer my silly questions. How are you all doing? There in the pit lane, our Twitch chat. Maybe where are you watching from? Maybe share that. You don't have to get granular. You don't have to provide your pinpoint location, your coordinates, but maybe what state, province, country, continent, whatever works for you. Always like to kind of see where our viewers are spectating from. And don't worry, I'm not taking that information and then doing anything with it. Just want to know. Just curious. We've got pretty much everybody readied up here. Buck, Meza, Slow, and Spurzaus, and everybody else is good to go. Look at these liveries. You got LSEM Barney, which again the two LSEM drivers, Barney and Buck, with very similar, actually the same car, just different color scheme. Barney here opting with the red piping with the white overall, and then Buck with the white piping, the red base. And Slipstream, can't make out the primary sponsor on that one. And then we've got RZ McQueen, and the side of his car quite simply says good news. His other car is a Dacia Sandero. Oh, sorry. I'm holding things up. I didn't go into spectate mode. Joe Beardy with the Red Bull carry out. I'm trying to read that sponsor there over the left rear tire arch. AMS Unicon, predictably, black paint job and number plate. And then we lose, apparently we lose the liveries there as things load up. We'll go ahead and put our focus on AMS Uticon's going to start opposite of RZ and McQueen. And we didn't talk about it last race, but McQueen, who was on pole in race number 1, also on pole here at Suzuka, they're all going to sit on the line. And as soon as McQueen decides to depart, take off, launch, whatever you want to call it, that signifies to the rest of the drivers that they too can go. So it's a delayed start here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. If you do sign up and you plan to race in week 2, just keep that in mind. It allows us as the broadcast to see the very start of the race, but then also it just adds a little bit more of an incentive to grab the pole. You can dictate the start of the race, maybe catch drivers off guard, and launch with them in your rear view mirror. And here we go. Kick the tires, light the fires. For the second time this evening, RZ and McQueen off the pole position. AMS Unicon back behind him in second. Then it's going to be LSEM Buck, followed by Mesosphere into turn number 1. Here we go. And so far, so good. A little bit of tire smoke back there in 9th and 10th position. Looks like everybody's able to keep the Bugatti pointed in the right direction. And then somebody ejects out of the horse shoe. The hairpin of 1 and 2. But here we go. Still watching AMS Unicon through the S's. Buck, Meza, Carry Out, Slipstream, Audrex, Barney, Joe Beery, Slow Motion Fire here in the top 10. Let's go to Slow. Back behind him, it's Chaos Fox. Let's go to Carry Out in 5th. Carry Out, going to run up onto the runoff section just off the side of the curbing there and able to keep it out of the grass before coming back out onto the tarmac. McQueen, still our race leader here, halfway through number 1, and it's out of the hairpin. That's like a legit hairpin with how tight that corner is. And we are not on the alternate circuit, which means we do not have that little chicane. And now into the left-hander, getting ready to approach Spoon. Let's go to Mesosphere in 4th. Meza with no number board. They're going to have to go ahead and dock him points right out the gate. Kidding, they won't do that. He'll have it all sorted by week 2, I'm sure. Here comes Buck. Gonna hit that left-hander. And yes, the question came up as to why there's that quote-unquote cool-down lap. That's because here in the Forza Spec Racing Series, they turned Forza race regulations on only so that it removes the tire barriers. It gives us a little bit of a cleaner view, a more realistic view of what things would look like on race day at these tracks, but then also it keeps some of those troublesome tire barriers out of the way should any of the drivers make a mistake. And so what happens is they end the race one lap before the game the game acknowledges the race ends, and then we have to take note of where they finish because the post-race results aren't going to tell us. So there you go. There's the little bit of info that you probably didn't ask for. Well, one of you did. Mesosphere now up to 3rd position after getting around Buck. In 5th is Barney. Audrex now up to 6th position. Audrex, who didn't have the greatest of qualifying, with a, I don't know, maybe a 4-second 4 seconds off the pole sitter, McQueen. Now finds himself in 6th and looking to get around Barney. BWM Frog saying, watching the racing out of the corner of my eyes, the Padres are taking on the Dodgers in SoCal. Yeah, they are. Trying to pick up another win. This is actually their final divisional battle here tonight and then tomorrow. For any of you baseball fans who care about baseball on the West Coast, I do. Here comes Audrex to the inside, out of Spoon, able to make the move, and there we go. Let's go ahead and make that our first X-Venture Rewind of season number 36. And back behind them, that's going to be Carryout in 7th. Carryout getting ready to leapfrog Barney. As Barney comes a little bit wide. Out of 130R, I think that's the number. And let's go to that Virtual Auto Sports, formerly known as the Virtual Auto Sports, the X-Venture Rewind. And take a look at that move there by Audrex. Getting up to 5th. Hiya! I'm going to do that after every rewind. We'll just throw a hiya in there to go ahead and transition back out to full screen. Back into turn number 1. It's going to be Mortismo, who's leading a pack of cars. He's in 11th. It's Modern Weapon, Born as Ghost, and Slipstream with Raccoon and Sprazouse, 11th through 16th. And then you've got to look back a ways to find Joe Beardy leading 18th, 19th, and 20th. That being DeVillain, Fox Jason D, Grimm, and Raccoon off the track. So he'll lose pace here with this grouping. And then out in front of these drivers, it is Slow Motion Fire still hanging on to 10th, although he's going to be having to play defense here pretty quickly. Chaos Fox in 9th, Cratrum in 8th, Carryout in 7th, Barney in 6th, Audrex in 5th, Buck in 4th, Meza, who made that move a bit ago on lap number 2, and oh, off the track, that's going to be, who is that? I think that's Sprazouse. It was. Sprazouse hit the eject button, and off he went through the hairpin. Back up to Audrex. Keeping it between the lines. I have a feeling Audrex is pretty good at coloring. He's consistently within track limits. That's what I could say about Audrex. And across the line he'll go, beginning of lap number 4. Our race leader, it is still our pole sitter, McQueen, who was leading the majority. I think it was only within the last 4 laps out at Watkins Glen that something went wrong. and McQueen had to go into pit lane. And he was able to manage an 8th place finish. If he can pick up the win here in race number 2, it'll be a silver lining. However, it'll be kind of a double-edged sword type of thing, where had he finished in first in race number 1, then without a doubt, this would be a keeper week for him in terms of points. But now, moving forward, we'll see if this ends up being his drop week, if he can muster great finishes in weeks 2 through 5, or if this ends up being a week that counts. And again, unfortunately, not getting the double 50-point victories that he would have had if everything went right there in race number 1. But that's racing for you. Sometimes it doesn't go your way, and you have to make it up elsewhere. Thunder THR says, seemed like those brakes caught them off guard. I would agree. I mean, we've seen a couple of drivers just go flying off the track, and as Mesosphere told us there in the driver's spotlight between races, that the braking on the Bugatti, despite the fact that they've got race brake upgrades, they don't, maybe not making the EB110 stop as quick as they might have expected. Of course, those who cared enough to do the testing of the car before season 36 might be in the know, but others just now catching on. As speaking of catching on, we're going to see if Udakan's going to be able to catch up with McQueen. McQueen did not lose a battle with AMS Udakan there in race number 1. He was out in front. It wasn't until, again, something happened. We had our camera off of him because he was having such a good race there. It wasn't that he lost the battle, so to speak. It was something of his own doing, I'm guessing. And so now we'll see if he can hang on to it. And again, will tire degradation have that much more of an impact on race number 2? We saw what it was doing to Mesosphere. Granted, he was making his way up from 21st to the top 10 in that first race, so might have been putting a little bit more wear and tear on those tires than you might otherwise be doing if you were just racing at a normal pace. But when you're playing catch-up, you can chew through rubber pretty quickly. But with McQueen possibly having to be on the defensive and Udakan on the offensive, we'll see what strategy works out for them. And then it's quite a glance back to find Mesosphere here in 3rd position as he gets ready to line it up for a spoon. McQueen and Udakan already on the straightaway, heading into 130R. Back behind Meza is Buck, Drex, Krachum. Let's go to Barney in 7th. Barney finishing in 9th there in race number 1. Trying to do a couple of positions better here with that LSCM car. He's looking on the outside of Krachum. Now he's going to line it up here for the S's, and he's got Carryout closing in quick with the timepiece there on the front of the Bugatti. Love that livery. More modern livery there for Carryout. Looks good, though. And here they come down the front straightaway at Suzuka full. Across the line, beginning of lap 6. 15 laps here in race number 2. And after this one, we'll be done with week 1. And into week 2, a week from tonight. Same bat time, same bat channel. Let's go to the battle that's just in front of this one. Drex in 5th as he goes ahead and slides it out a little bit, and I think he grabbed the grass there a little bit before getting those race tires to stick on the asphalt. And now here we go to a loading screen. And we'll see, based on the ticker, who we've said sayonara to. Our timing is a little off, so we might have actually had a bit of a either a lag spike in the lobby, or I just momentarily lost connection. And now it looks like our timing is back. McQueen's still out in front, Amos Udokan in second, Meza in third, Buck in fourth, and Audrex in fifth. So no changes in the top five. Then it's Cratrim in sixth. Cratrim starting to close back in on the top five after not having a very good qualifying session. And Cratrim, who had a podium finish there at Watkins Glen. We'll see if he's able to pick up a few more spots here before this one is over with. As we see the Swordfish Motorsport car, those blue, white, and orange colors. Barney in seventh, Carryout in eighth, Chaos Fox in ninth, Slipstream in 10th position. Let's go to Slow Motion Fire in 13th, who has in front of a Modern Weapon in 12th. Modern Weapon, unfortunately, falling all the way back to 18th out there at Watkins Glen, doing much better so far halfway through this race, or less than halfway through this one. At Suzuka, Slow Motion Fire is going to run a little bit wide coming out of 2. Are y'all excited about Le Mans this weekend? I know, it kind of snuck up on us, right? Like, you expect it in the spring, and then here we are rolling into the fall with Formula One and all that already well underway, NASCAR and stuff, and fortunately, they're going to get Le Mans in here in September. Has there ever been a 24-hour Le Mans race run in the fall? You forgot that it was still happening, but you definitely have to keep your eyes peeled. So this is not an ad. This is my own volition. This is me speaking. Is that Motor Trend? They've got an app. They had an app, I think, started either last year or 2 years ago. And I believe they have a special, and it might have expired by now, but it's worth checking. But I believe they had a special that you could pick up the Motor Trend subscription for $2 a month. So it's going to come out to be about $24, $25, $26 with some tax. $2 a month, and you got to pay for a full year up front. And that way you get access to the 24-hour Le Mans, because for those of us in the States, I don't know where it is. I don't know where you're going to find it elsewhere. Probably Sky Sports and all that for Europeans. But this year, it's going to be on Motor Trend, the 24-hour Le Mans, all 24 hours. And so part of your subscription for $24 for 1 year, you'll get Le Mans, the full broadcast, start to finish. And then you can also see however many seasons there are, all the way dating back to season number 1 of Top Gear. So it might be worth looking into if you're a big racing fan or just an automotive fan in general, and just need some content to get you through the cold months. Again, not an ad. I went ahead and subscribed myself because I'm actually kind of curious to, not that I'm not from year to year, but I'm interested to watch bits of Le Mans here in 2020. Why not? Why not? What else is there to do, right? Audrex now going to lead Buck back into Spoon here. 8th time out at Suzuka. 15 laps. THR Thunder saying, I'm mostly keeping my eyes open for 2021 when the hypercar class kicks into. Yes, that'll be very interesting. And here's what I'm thinking, and I hope I'm right in my assumption here, But I'm hoping that they'll go back to May for Le Mans 2021. And if that's the case, and if it happens to be on the Motor Trend subscription for 2021, then my hope is that, cool, I just picked up 2 24-hour Le Mans races with 1 subscription. I hope that's the case. I don't know what the deal is that Motor Trend or the Discovery Network has worked out with the broadcast rights of Le Mans, but I'm hoping that's the case. All right, we're keeping the camera right here. Audrex, Buck, a beautiful battle between the red EB110s. Audrex is right. I always say, well, here, you guys correct me. I always say Risen, but I think it's Ryzen, right? Is it AMD Ryzen? Which I'm not a big fan of, but what do I know? But yeah, I think I've been pronouncing it wrong all along, which is such a silly thing to get wrong because you've got the second most prolific graphics card on the market, or most popular. I don't know if prolific's the right word. It's like saying like Snickers is the most prolific candy bar. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Stupid question. How does one go about peeling their eyes? Keeping your eyes peeled? You just hold them open. Ryzen. Yeah, okay, thanks. I know, I've been sounding like a goofball saying Risen all this time, and I'm sure somebody corrected me at some point, and then I just wrote it off. But Ryzen. I'm not a fan. Not a fan of that name. You gonna watch all 24? No, I'm not. I'm done with 24 hours straight of anything. After the 24-hour broadcast earlier this year, I'm done with attempting anything 24 hours. That's watching anything, that's doing anything, that's keeping my eyes peeled for anything. I'm not doing anything for 24 hours ever again. I say that. Never say never, but I don't have any, let me just put it this way. I don't have any aspirations to do anything 24 hours straight. Don't get me wrong. The 24 hours of Daytona, I think it was the Daytona race for Tora, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. But really, what it was, it was a check mark for me in terms of things to do streaming-wise. Do a 24-hour stream. Let's see how that goes. Well, fortunately, the trail mix and the Dr. Pepper held me over pretty good, but I was paying for it after that. Let's go to Cratrim here in 6th, who again is trying to pick up yet another position, moving to the top 5 after finishing 3rd out at Watkins Glen. This will be a wonderful start to season 36 if he could pull it off. And heck, why stop at 5 when you can go for 4? Audrex up there in 4th position. Through the hairpin they come. Now up to the right-hander. Again, no chicane here as we're not on the alternate version of the full circuit here at Suzuka. And that's going to make the hard charge to the very west end of the track. Ryzen honestly becoming the top flagship for CPUs because Intel really rested on their laurels while AMD has been firing out with amazing performance per value CPU. Yeah, and I said GPUs, but then of course I totally forgot to give praise to their CPUs, which I'm keeping my eye out because I think in the next 2 years I will have to upgrade my PC to be as let me check that statement. Not as powerful as, oh, look at Buck. Buck is going to go ahead and do his Hunikin impression, and that's not what he wanted to do. And as a result, he actually loses no positions because Audrex actually got then tangled up with one of the back markers that I think is Grimm there in 19th. Let me go ahead and roll that one back on the Virtual Autosport. I should have to like pony up some sort of subscription Let's do that starting next week. Anytime I say Virtual Autosport, starting next week, I'll have to pony up a subscription to one viewer of the channel. Let's go take a look at that on the X Venture Rewind. There goes Buck, and then here comes Craytrim. And actually, hold on. I got that all kinds of messed up. Buck was able to get back out where he needed to be. I'm taking a look at it again. He runs wide. And then he's back out. GPUs is a different case. AMD has been making giant leaps, but unlike Intel, NVIDIA took their competition seriously, and from the reports of the 3000 series has completely shaken. Oh yeah, no doubt. No, like that alone is the reason why I'll be looking to upgrade it in the next couple of years, just because the value that you get from the 3000 series, the 3 series, I guess they call it. You don't call it the 3000 series, you call it the 3 series, is remarkable. And unless when that card drops, the 3070, which is just mind-boggling, the amount of value that you get for the 370, and then you get the 380, which is equally mind-boggling in terms of value, but not as much as the 370. Like the 370, which is more powerful than the 2080 Ti, right? Like that's just insanity. So the value you get with the 3070 is amazing. Then the 3080, which is just spectacular. Then even the 3090 comes in at a price point below the 1080 Ti, right? I mean, it's just that NVIDIA presentation satiated the hunger of so many PC gaming fans that it could quite possibly go down as one of the best hardware launches announcements that has happened in recent memory. I mean, today's Apple stuff was whatever. But the NVIDIA. We're hanging out here with Craytrim in 6th, Buck in 5th, and you got Audrex up there in 5th in this 15-lapper out at Suzuka. We haven't had any change in position in the top spots. As a matter of fact, McQueen is just, he's like somebody told McQueen that dinner is ready, and McQueen is just like on a tear to get home. He's got nobody out in front of him, nobody in the rearview mirror. Amos Inukan just kind of on a Sunday drive of his own in 2nd. Then it's Mesosphere in 3rd. And actually, Mesosphere is closing in on Inukan, which is going to make things interesting here in the last 2 or 3 laps. Here comes Buck, though, closing back in on Craytrim, who Craytrim was able to get up to the 5th position. And unless he does something wrong here, should hold on to it, but he's going to allow Buck to the inside. That's going to give Buck the least amount of momentum, though, coming out of those S's. And as such, Craytrim's able to pull it out here on the final right-hander, take the charge back to the line in 5th position. And now he is like a homing missile here with Audrex. The 3070 is a sweet spot, in your opinion. The 380 is really for those really beginning to push into 4K. Well, no. See, actually, 380 is for anybody who aspired to 4K with their 1080 and their 1080 Ti's and their 2070s, 2080s, but then just couldn't muster the 60 frame. Fortunately, I can do it here with Forza Motorsport 7. I've got it going 4K with my 1080, and I don't even have a Ti. I can do 4K 60 frames here in Forza Motorsport 7, but any other game that is beyond the eye candy of Forza Motorsport 7, forget about it. I have to drop back down to 1440. So the 380 is really kind of the pick-me-up back. Like, give me the resolution and give me the frames again. because even with my 1080, I can run things at 4K, but then it's locking at 30 frames, which for racing games not ideal. So the 380 is like if I'm running out of gas with the 1080, the 3080 is that pick me back up. You know, it's that cup of coffee, it's that caffeinated drink on a long drive. It's the thing to get you back there. But I agree with you. Anybody who hadn't yet gotten into the 4K realm with their PC, I mean, the 3 series is going to get you there real quick. And of course, they had to do something. Not only NVIDIA with AMD doing as well as it is, the competition that it's providing, but then also the consoles. Like, NVIDIA and AMD cannot dismiss the fact that now you'll be able to play games in 4K resolution with a $500 console. Here comes Craytrim now into turn number 1. He's able to shake Barney here, which is good. And we'll see here if maybe on the last 3 laps he can catch back up with Audrex. And actually, I take it back the last 2 laps because, again, that 16th lap there in the upper left, that'll be a cool-down lap. Let's go ahead and run through the field. It's RZ and McQueen looking to pick up 50 points after things went horrifically wrong there at Watkins Glen. AMS Udakan in second, Mesosphere in third, and that's where Mes has been for quite some time. The only driver he had to get around to get up into third was Audrex. Audrex in fourth, Krejcim in fifth, Buck in sixth, Barney in seventh. So the 2 LSCM drivers riding 6th and 7th, although separated by about 4 or 5 seconds. Carryout in 8th, Slipstream in 9th, Chaos Fox in 10th. Then in the back half of the pack, it's Mortizbo in 11th, Born as Ghost, Modern Weapon, AP1 Raccoon, Slow Motion Fire, Sprozaus, Fox, Jason D, and Grimm, and Joe Beardy, 12th through 19th. But I mean, talking about value, I mean, look at the consoles. I mean, I know they're consoles, and so it's limited in terms of what you can do outside of the console. It's still an entertainment platform. Like, you'll be able to put all your other apps on there, but I mean, 4K resolution, and assuming, I know they're touting 4K resolution at up to 120 frames per second. Of course, you would anticipate that a lot of the games they're running at the 60 frames, but then how many of them actually dial it back to 30? Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully 60 really is the standard. But I mean, I gotta say, in terms of consoles, that's probably some of the best value that we've seen dating back to the 360 PlayStation 3 era. And I say PlayStation 3, but maybe more so PlayStation 2, perhaps PlayStation 4, because 3, I don't know if that was necessarily value. It started at a pretty high price point. I'm looking for a battle out here, folks. There actually is not really... The field is really spread thin here, so it's not that we're watching Craytrim just because his car looks cool. It does, but it's really it's not even a battle, but it's just where he's positioned here is one of the best spots to keep the camera at this point. He does have Audrex not immediately in front of him. We can't see him up ahead in the camera views that we have, but he is up there, and so if there is any miscue by Audrex, then Craytrim will be looking to move up there and close that gap. As you can see it, Audrex coming out of the hairpin. Here comes Craytrim through the hairpin. And then we should know more about the PlayStation 5 mañana. The PlayStation 5 event. I cannot fathom them coming out of that event without announcing the price point and the date for pre-orders, which, for those of you who paid attention to Twitter or anywhere else where you get your gaming news, you would have noticed that they were taking not necessarily pre-orders, but if you wanted to be considered on the list, because let's face it, the consoles are going to be all claimed for before they really even hit shelves. I mean, your ability to find one on the shelf, I think, is going to be next to impossible because of the nature of the current environment with COVID and just because how sought after these things are going to be. But I can't see a way where we get out of tomorrow without knowing what PlayStation 5 is looking like for its price point, its release window. Although they've got to give us a date now. All right, across the line, there goes our race leaders. McQueen, he's going to pull out the win here. Should have been able to go back-to-back, but unfortunately he's going to have to settle for first place only here in race number 2 after the 8th place finish there in race number 1. Then it's Mesosphere, Audrex, Cratrium, Buck, Barney, Carryout, Slipstream, Chaos Fox in 10th position. We'll talk about the rest of the field. We'll see if any of our drivers want to have a chat with us in the driver's spotlight. Race number 2, week number 1. It's in the books. We done did it. We've got 4 more weeks to go after this one. Hang tight. We'll preview what next week's action looks like. And, again, we'll see if any of our drivers want to have a word with us. I'm Dustin Moore. You're watching X-Venture here live on Twitch TV with the Forza Spec Racing Series season number 36. We'll be right back after this commercial break. And welcome back to X-Venture here on Twitch TV as we wrap up week number 1 here, season 36 in the Bugatti EB110. And it's Amos Udakan who gets the win out at Watkins Glen, followed by Arzian McQueen, with the win out at Suzuka. Here's a look at what's ahead here in season 36 with next week's action getting picked right back up out at Le Mans, Circuit de la Sarthe. And again, very timely, very apropos because we've got the 24 hours of Le Mans coming up here this weekend. 8 laps. 8 laps in the Bugatti for that one. And it is the full circuit, which I think this is with the chicane on the Mulsanne straight. I'll have to verify, but I believe the way that is worded, that means we will have the chicanes, the 2 chicanes there on the Mulsanne. And then Daytona Sport Car Circuit. So things are going to get exciting. They're going to get interesting, as if they weren't already. I'm really going to be curious about how the tire degradation plays in to the remaining races here on the schedule, and even fuel. I'm curious about fuel out there at Circuit de la Sarthe. Maybe one of our drivers there going into week number 2 will be able to give us some insights on what to expect or maybe not expect. Maybe there's nothing to be concerned about there. But will there be a pit stop required out at Le Mans? So that's what's ahead here a week from tonight. Same time, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on X Venture. And let's go ahead and turn on over to the driver's spotlight here as SGR Chaos Fox has hopped in. Chaos Fox, it looks like, what is that, 2 10th place finishes here tonight?
Race 1, I finished 9th, and this race I finished 10th.
Yeah, don't let me short you there. Spot 9th out at Watkins Glen, 10th here at Suzuka. Which race did you? I mean, obviously you finished 9th out at Watkins Glen versus 10th here at Suzuka, but which race did you feel more comfortable in?
Watkins for sure. Granted, I did not put in a whole lot of practice time for Suzuka. I do like Suzuka. I really like this track. This car, it's really nose heavy for a mid-engine car. There's a lot of understeer with it. It can't really carry speed, at least the way I like it. I still got a lot of work to do with this car to figure out how to tune this understeer out of it. But it's fast, but it just can't carry the speed, and it's definitely challenging to maintain speed, keep people behind you, and keep your position.
Talking with SGR Chaos Fox here in the driver's spotlight at the conclusion of week 1 here in season 36 of the Forza Spec Racing Series. So you're talking about the understeery nature of the car, and of course you posted that there in our pit lane, our Twitch chat. Mesosphere was singing a different tune, although he might be in agreement with you there on the understeer nature of the car, but he was talking about the braking. Was that so much of a factor for you?
Yes, because of the weight of the car, or at least just the way how it feels under braking. If you don't hit your marks absolutely correctly, this car will blow through a turn, like, and completely throw away position. It happened to me a couple times, definitely in Suzuka. Watkins, it happened once. I had an off, but Suzuka, it's a lot. You have to be like 120% on this car. Make sure you do not overshoot any of your braking marks because this car is unforgiving. It's not that bad to drive. I'm starting to get used to it. I'm starting to feel comfortable with it, but I definitely need more work on the tune. But this is a very challenging car to get a hold of.
It is maybe a challenge, but then also it's a jump up from where we've been for the last few seasons here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. Was that at least a welcome sign for you? Do you appreciate being an S class, or would you have rather be in A, B, or anything below?
I mean, I would have liked another A class. I'm very biased towards A class, but S class is nice. I do well with S class. There are lots of other leagues I participate in where we're at S class, but something like this, and in fact, I've never actually taken the time to drive and tune this Bugatti until the series.
Soul Motion Fire telling us there in the chat that he's got some work to do to find the time with this car. He wants to be better here with the EB110, as it seems to be throwing a few folks off. Talking with SGR Chaos Fox, yes, you picked up the 9th place finish and the 10th place here this evening. As we look ahead, was there a track that you picked for season 36? And if you didn't, is there one that you've got your eye on?
I did not actually pick a track. Unfortunately, I was a little bit busy when the car reveal was going on. But as for the tracks, I really
What
gotta
about
kind
what
of
about
ponder about
Lasarth?
this.
your next one, Le Mans, right after the real world 24-hour of Le Mans.
Honestly, I think Le Mans is definitely a bit more well suited to this car. Uh, I think these cars will be. You'll see a lot more exciting racing on there. Same with Daytona. Daytona, I know very well as well. I like that track. I'm very comfortable with it. Uh, I think, especially Suzuka, since it's such a technical track, and these cars, my opinion, doesn't mesh very well. So people, as you saw, like everybody spaced out. Uh, Not a whole. Well, from what I could tell from the little track map, but Le Mans, I think, is going to be a different story, especially Daytona too.
I like that. I like the thought of that. The notion that it's going to be a little bit more competitive. Of course, race number 1 was great out of Watkins Glen. Things got a little bit more spaced out here at Suzuka, but we'll see if that turns around in races 3 and 4 next week. Chaos Fox, SGR Chaos Fox Thunder says hello there in the chat. Anybody you want to say hi to?
Well, yes, Thunder. Good, nice to see you cheering me on there.
You don't have to.
Honestly, sorry, I'm just a little burnt out right now.
Yeah.
But good racing. I know at Watkins. Shout out to Buck for keeping me on my toes at Watkins. Just Suzuka. I just wish I had someone around me. Slip was able to get by me, but he was on the ball a lot better with that car around Suzuka than me, and it showed.
All right, well, you got 4 more weeks to figure it out. SGR Chaos Fox here tonight, doing pretty good, getting 2 top 10 finishes in week number 1. Best of luck to you. Well, I'm not going to say that now. It's a little premature, but have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you in week 2.
All right. See you then.
All right. We've got another driver who's ready to go here in the interview queue, the driver spotlight. We've got DUR Carryout finishing 5th in race number 1 at Watkins and 8th here out at Suzuka. Are you content, or is there more that you could find here in the EB110?
Oh, she's a boat, baby. She's a boat. Suzuka was a little bit rough. Went off a couple of times. Watkins Glen, I was okay with.
Okay. Yeah, Watkins Glen, we noticed that drivers seemed to be a little bit more on the track than what had happened here at Suzuka, and maybe it was the more curvy bits on this track that threw people off. What about you? Have you experienced the same kind of understeering nature of the car? Obviously, you're talking about boats, so I'm guessing you're thinking that you're telling me that the braking was pretty difficult. But does the car just wants to see itself off into the grass?
I didn't have a problem with the braking so much. It's just the weight of the car. If you get on like the rumble strips or the curbs or anything like that, it just had a tendency to just pull you more over into the grass for me. And that's where most of my offs went to. And during the braking zones, I would try to get over as far as I could to get a nice corner in. And then sometimes I would drop a tire and it was just over in that corner at that point.
Mesosphere, who says vroom there in the chat. We're talking with DOR Carryout right now in the driver's spotlight. He says zoom. He was pushing hard in that first race, so we saw some tire degradation associated with his vehicle. What about you? Did you have to deal with tire degradation through the races, or was that not too much of an issue?
Not in the first race. It wasn't as bad in the first race. At Suzuka, yeah, a little bit. I got up to almost 80% at the end. It was pushing a little bit heavier at the end of the race.
Gotcha. Well, Carryout did pretty good there. As a matter of fact, you and the driver that we often see you around, you guys did it again here in week 1 of season 36, Slipstream I'm talking about, who finished out in front of you in race number 1. You finished out in front of him in race number 2. You've got drivers who are not a stranger to the Forza Motorsports scene, but now we've got LSC and Barney who's out there. He seems to be in or around the area that you are, so it seems like maybe some new competitors here in season 36.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun. Yeah, Slip was really good at the first race, and he was really good in the second race. And he unfortunately had a little bit of an accident lap 1, coming out of the chicanes onto the back straight, which put him back a little bit. But he made his way up right behind me, and he caught me that last lap. He was right on my tail. So yeah, he's fast this season.
And I might be misspeaking there. At Barney, I think was a part of season 35 and just now coming into season 36 under the LSEM tag. So my apologies there to Barney. But yeah, you say it's going to be a lot of fun. Which track? And I know this is the question that I ask all our drivers here in week ones to start off these seasons. But which event here in season 36 are you looking forward to most? Which track?
That's a good question. I like all of the ones that are coming up. Geez. Spa is going to be really fun. Daytona is going to be really fun. Road America is going to be really fun, and Monza for the finale is going to be. It's going to be interesting. I expect to see in most of these races, to be honest, most of them is probably going to be a little bit spread out like they were today.
Yeah.
So we might not get that great of an experience watching, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Blasphemy. Don't ever tell us that it won't be a good experience watching. Talking with DR, carry out.
Well, there might not be that many battles going on, but it's going to be good. It's going to be a good season.
Oh, the fix is in, sir. I'm going to make sure there's battles. I'm going to tell Slow Motion Fire that he needs to apply some like handicaps to you guys without noticing somehow. Talking with DR, carry out here. The first track that you uttered was Spa. So maybe to close out our interview, maybe give me a word. What are your first thoughts of an understeery, heavy car going up Eau Rouge?
Crap.
acceptable, and family friendly. I can appreciate that.
Oh crap!
Very good.
There's probably going to be a lot of that going on in Discord first lap.
Oh crap! Yeah, exactly. Up the hill and into the tire wall. Hopefully not. Hopefully everybody will be able to sort it out before then. They've got 2 weeks before we hit Spa. DR, carry out anything you'd like to say here before we wrap things up tonight?
Stay tuned, everybody. This is going to be a good season.
Oh, yeah, sure. Now you say it. I'm going to throw him back now before he takes it back. And let's go ahead and bring into the driver's spotlight now Mesosphere. Mesosphere, we talked to you after race number 1, at which you pulled off a pretty miraculous finish there from the back of the pack to 8th. And now here you come out at Suzuka with a 3rd-place finish. After you got around Audrex, it was really I don't want to say smooth sailing because I'm not the one behind the sticks, but there was nowhere else to go after you got up to 3rd, right?
No, I did get faster, but the lead 2 was still over a second lap faster than me. By the way, I got 6th in the first race, not 8th.
Oh, well, I penalized you because you didn't have a livery on your car. That's why.
Oh, okay. All right. In that case, that's fair. No, this race was interesting because the tire wear was very excessive. I noticed after the first few laps that if you push too hard on the thing, the tires just disintegrate. So, I was thinking, okay, I want to get a few seconds lead and then kind of start pacing. And then I think the guys behind started battling. And all of a sudden I went from a 1.5 second lead. And it's like, I'm only just able to keep this. These guys are right on my pace to suddenly a 4 second lead. And it's like, okay, that's more comfortable. And then I can just try not to hurt the front tires too much. But they were still screaming by the end of 80-something%. That was punishing. So yeah.
Is it something you think you might be able to work out through the tuning, or is it all because of driving style and just the nature of this car, these tires? What is it? Is there a fix to this?
I don't know. It wasn't my tune. I just literally grabbed the first thing that came in the car. I don't know. You're asking the wrong person that question. Normally I'd be fine, but this isn't my tune.
Well, true. Very true.
This is McQueen's. I literally came in and grabbed it and went, oh, okay, this is what it drives like. And, I don't even know what it drives like stock. I haven't got a clue.
What do you have to say to that point then? You've got McQueen, who you're running his tune, and he had pretty good showings there in the first race, despite whatever it was that happened there in race number 1. And then, of course, had just ran away with the win here in race 2. So what does that say about his skill level, that you guys are running the same tunes? And even if he has the same degradation, he's in another universe, apparently.
Look, I'm old and slow. I know this already.
No.
I'm here for the lulz. I have accepted that fact, and I will take that on the chin. Realistically, I know I know I am no McQueen, so you don't rub it in.
I'm not trying to. I want to make things as fun and as interesting to hear for our viewers as possible. But don't take it as a slight towards you at all, Mesosphere. You're plenty quick. And I suspect moving on through the rest of the season, this won't be the last time that we see you vying for podium spots. And then who knows? Maybe McQueen and Udakan will expose their weaknesses, and you'll find yourself up there. Do you continue to run with McQueen's tune, or do you say, okay, let me try to figure this one out myself?
Well, considering up until I got bullied into taking part in this event, I had no idea I was even doing it. I haven't thought about that far. Now that I know that I'm in this series, I will probably have a little look during the week and see if I can come up with anything that feels better for me, because I must admit I was struggling with this tune on the brakes. I don't know whether, though, that's a tune thing, because he did say he had the balance quite rearward during one point during the race. So it's like, okay, so maybe the brakes aren't quite actually set up where I'd want them, when that's why it's feeling a little bit iffy under braking. So maybe I can get myself a little bit more comfortable there, but otherwise the tune felt really good. So this poses a problem. Can I make a car feel as good as McQueen?
Well,
with the brakes more how I want it? And I'm not sure. I'm not sure I can. So I suppose I'll have to find out during the week.
If you can, you're going to be dangerous. And that's one heck of a teaser, by the way, is Mesosphere telling us if he can make those adjustments to suit more of his driving style, then yes, I suspect you'll be very, very dangerous out there on the track. All right.
I'm not closing up 2 seconds. Don't hype me up too much. I'm not closing up 2 seconds a lap. That's not happening.
Oh, come on. It was Carry Out first who told us that we weren't going to see much excitement moving forward. And now you're telling me not to.
You're
going
to see some great racing, just probably not with McQueen. He's going to be off in the distance. The rest of us are going to be fighting hard.
Oh,
to be fair, McQueen and Hurricane are going to be fighting up the front. The rest of us are going to be fighting for that last podium spot. Trust me, there will be fighting.
There will be.
The speed difference was very small between myself, Audrex, Barney, several others. It's just tonight, for some reason, I was most consistent. And I think that's what got me third. Because like Watkins Glen, people were just making mistakes, pushing too hard and going off. Keep it consistent. You move up the field. So that's what I did tonight. That wasn't, out and out pace or what have you. That's me getting used to the car and staying consistent with it and not trying to push too hard. And that's where you get the podium from. But the lap times were so close that you're going to get racing all season, regardless of, what Carry Out said. No. There's going to be battling. Yeah. Trust me, there'll be battling.
There will indeed. So hopefully we'll catch everybody who's been watching here tonight, and maybe even more folks ahead of week number 2 or in week 2 when things pick up again at the same time, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on X Venture. The very young, spry, the sporty, and quick Mesosphere. Thank you, sir. Any parting words tonight?
Where's my Zimmer? No. It's a great race, and thanks for the great commentary. From what I've heard already, I'm going to be watching the replay in about as soon as you've gone offline.
There you go. Love to hear it. Mesosphere, we'll see you next week.
See ya.
All right, folks. Well, hey, there's some sort of very awkward promo reel in there somewhere, but like I told you at the beginning of the broadcast, I loathe video editing, so we'll not have one made. But we go from the ups and downs of it's going to be great racing to it may not be so competitive. But I assure you, if you are tuned in next week, next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have a lot more great racing. And at the very least, you're going to watch the 92 Bugatti going around Circuit de la Sarthe. So where can we possibly go wrong there? And then we're going to follow that up with the Daytona Sport Car Circuit. So if there could be 2 tracks that are any more disparate than those two, I tell me, and we'll try to get those on the schedule for season 37. But really, going from Circuit de la Sarthe to Daytona in 1 week is going to be quite the transition, and we'll see how the drivers adjust to that, not only in their driving style, but then also in their tuning. Because I have a feeling I'm not the most savvy when it comes to vehicle setups in the virtual world, but I have a feeling that we're looking at 2 different two different setups for those two facilities, two different tracks. Mateo Max says, how about audio plus hand-drawn animated video? You're still asking for too much, Mateo. I mean, if I can only be as motivated about video editing as you are with taking data and information and assembling it in a way that makes sense and is useful, then, man, I would be in a good spot, but I'm not. As soon as I check out from the broadcast, the thought of editing video is the last thing on my mind. But who knows? Stranger things have happened. You have seen a little bit of the new graphics package here during the broadcast, and there will be some minor tweaks, not only to that, but then also to the channel as a whole, because again, new name. Diversifying the portfolio, if you will, with regards to the content that is on the channel. We'll be back here this coming Friday with Hauling Across America. I think that's a TV show or something. Hauling for the Weekend on Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on X Venture. We're going to pick up where we left off on our travels up to Washington. I think we were in Seattle is where we last left off. So unless American Truck Simulator goes ahead and fast travels me back to my home base there in Phoenix, we should be in Seattle, and who knows what kind of crazy hauling shenanigans we'll pick up there. So if you have the chance to tune in and check it out, 6 p.m. this Friday, Hauling for the Weekend, and who knows, we might have another broadcast in here somewhere. That American Sim. I'm like merging the American Truck Simulator and the Flight Simulator, the Microsoft Flight Simulator, into one title. But who knows? The Microsoft Flight Simulator is calling my name. And, like I mentioned, we might venture out of the world of sim-type games and into something else. So you'll just have to keep an eye out for what's going on here at X Venture. And if you're not already following the channel, please do so. Because I think that's the very most that I ask from the viewers is if that you are enjoying your time here, please click that follow button, and it makes it that much more easier for you to find the channel once we go live here on Twitch. And if you have your notifications set up, then you'll get the notifications, and that's always fun. So there you go. Born as Ghost saying, going to go run Daytona. Mateo Max, we saw that comment. Nope, sorry. All you get is the commentary from Tuesday to Tuesday. That's all. And then DWM Frog says, great night of racing. Can't wait for next Tuesday. Slow saying, great broadcast. Funny says DWM Frog, that little conversation there with Carryout and Mesosphere. And then Thunder, THR, says, seems like a fun little thing. We'll have to tune in for future broadcast when I have the chance to. I hope so. And actually, I'm going to hold you to that there, Thunder. We hope to see you here next Tuesday for week number 2, which is going to be a lot of fun. Again, I'm looking forward to it. We're going to have the 24 hours of Le Mans in the real world this weekend. Then we get to go into it next Tuesday at Le Mans here in the Bugatti EB110. Sure, it's not going to be 24 hours of racing, but it'll be 8 laps of racing. That should be plenty to tide us over in advance of the race there at Daytona. Tuesday can't come quick enough. Although I won't rush it because that means getting through the weekend, and I want to enjoy the weekend as well. Same should be for you all, but before we get to the weekend, have a great rest of the week. If you get any more simming in, any more racing in, if you do anything in the virtual world, keep it fun, keep it safe, keep it clean. Until next time, y'all take care. Stay happy, stay healthy. Adios. Goodbye.